So this is Daisy, and Daisy is our sausage dog. So with the background colour, you can use any colour you want. I'm going to ask you guys, what colour shall I have for my background this time? Any suggestions? Oh, that's a nice lilac. Yeah? Are we all going purple today? Okay, let me see. I don't think I got my purple out, actually. I could go with pink, though. I'm feeling quite pink. Oh, here's someone else. So let me just see who this is. Just trying to join. So if you guys get your colour out that you want, and some white. Hi there. So we're just getting our colours out. You can pick any colour you like. I'm going to actually go with a bit of a lilac-y colour for mine. So I'm going to use some ultramarine blue and some white. So, and I'm actually going to, because I'm using such a dark colour, I'm going to get 2 spots of white out. You can see what I've got on my plate down here. And then I'm going to grab myself a lovely big brush. And I'm going to add some water to my paint. And mix my white and my blue together. So originally I used, for my bluey green colour on the original, I used some cerulean blue, some white and a little spot of green. But as I was saying earlier, you can pick any colour you like. So if you want to go lilac or pink or just have a bit of a change, then you can do that. So, but what we want to do is get that graduated colour. So I'm giving myself a lovely kind of periwinkle blue colour, which is ultramarine and white. And then as I go down the painting, I'm going to go 3/4 of the way down, getting lighter. And I've got to keep a bit of my darker colour back because I'm going to use that as my shadow. So I'm going to start off with a big brush up at the top of my painting. So remember, we only use enough paint. Oh, splashed a bit. Only use enough paint to cover the canvas without any, or paper without any bits showing through. We don't really want to use any more than that because we'll absolutely drown our canvas and it will take forever to dry. And it also makes it really tricky to work with. So that's why I always say about it. So as I start to go down my canvas, I'm going to start to pick up a little bit of white, like this, add it to my paint, and then carry on. So I'm just making it fractionally lighter each time I reload my brush. But don't be tempted to reload too often because we don't want to drown our canvas. Bit more white, mix it. Don't forget to keep yourself a little bit of your dark colour back for our shadow that's going to go under our dog. So, and I'm just going to work backwards and forwards across my canvas, but also up and down a little bit. Everyone okay? Shania, I can see you guys are still getting your paint out. So I'm grabbing a bit more. Sorry?
A sunset, would it work?
It would do, yeah, that would look lovely.
Okay.
You better hurry up and get those paints on though, otherwise you'll be left behind. So if you're going for a sunset, then you want to go sort of start off reds and then oranges and go down to a yellow, but don't forget to keep a little bit of that darkest colour back for your shadow. So if you've got something particularly with a simple picture like the one we've got, rather than going for a flat background, it's always nicer to start to add a bit of shading or a bit of interest into it, and it just makes it into a picture, a whole sort of picture, rather than just something that's plonked onto the middle of a page. So we're only going down about 3/4 of the way, and we're getting paler as we go. Once we get to that 3/4 line, I'm going to stop and just wait for you guys to catch up with me. Oh no, pull your sleeves up before you get paint on it. So Shania, make sure you guys use a really big brush. Yeah, use the biggest brushes you've got, otherwise you're still going to be painting your background while we've finished painting the whole dog.
Okay, that's what I told her.
Oh, Cara, that's a lovely lilac you've got there. Very nice.
Hi,
this is
Tony.
nice.
I think you're frozen.
Oh, no, I'm waiting for you guys.
You're waiting. Oh, sorry.
I don't want to get too far ahead of you guys, so I thought I'd wait for you to catch up a
I
bit.
thought you were frozen. Sorry.
Oh, that's lovely. Beautiful colour. So I'm guessing you don't look like much like a Mark's iPad, but
no, it is Mark, but this is Eve.
Hello,
So
Eve.
Eve's painting.
Oh, with a glamorous assistant, I see. Oh, hello. Little head popped round.
Oh yeah, that's Elliot's having a go as well. He's only 3.
Oh, excellent.
He's got a lot of water. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if Eve, if he does get a bit too much with the water and his painting is really, really wet, there's 2 things that you can help him with. Okay, one, you could always get a hairdryer out and dry it off quicker. that made you laugh. Or the other thing you can do is grab a tissue, particularly kitchen roll, lay it on the top, rub the back and then pull it off, and it will take off any extra paint that you don't want. So have we all got 3/4 of the way down? Yeah. So I'm going to show you the original again. So do you see that in my original we've got this pale colour down here, but we've got this shadow as well that goes underneath our dog. So what we're going to do is paint our pale colour all the way down, but that darker bit that we kept from earlier on, we're going to use that here. So at the moment, the first step is to just paint in the pale colour, and then what we'll do is I'll show you how to get a good flat kind of floor or horizon line, and then we're going to put in our shadow. So don't put your shadow in yet, just get your pale ground in. And don't forget as well, if your paint's starting to dry out a little bit, particularly because it's warm, you might find that it's doing that. Just dip your brush in a little bit of water, and just the tip of it, not the whole brush. And then all you need to do is just wet your paint down a little bit. So I've run out of paint. Well, I've run out of white, so I'm going to grab some more. So I'm going to get through a lot of paint this week. So got my pale colour again. So I don't know why, but I seem to have a lot of sort of jadey green coloured paintings that I've got this week. So I thought I'd switch it up a little bit. So I've got my nice pale colour, and then I'm going to wait for you guys. So once you've got that in, give me a thumbs up and let me know. There's some lovely colour choices going on here. Oh, I like that. That's a very good. Have you seen those costumes that you can get for sausage dogs? Yeah, that's awesome. I really want a sausage dog. I'm reduced to painting them, but if I had one, I would definitely have like the sausage dog roll coat for it. You're on mute, lovely, but yeah. Oh, fantastic. That's beautiful colour, Eve. Okay. So don't forget, we're not drowning our paper because it'll take forever to dry. We're only using enough paint to cover it without absolutely drowning it. So if you do get too much on, then probably the best thing to do is a hairdryer on it. What we're going to do is this shadow, and I'm going to do a little thing with two brushes. So first thing I'm going to do is get a slightly smaller brush. So I've got a 1/2 inch flat, and I'm also going to grab myself a second brush. So got just any brush will do. I'm using my darker colour that we used up at the top of the painting. I'm going to rest my brush on the along the bottom of my canvas, and I'm going to start about roughly 1/3 of the way in. I'm going to pinch my brush where I want my shadow to start, and I'm just going to dot some marks each time, lining the end of the upright paintbrush with the side of the bottom of the canvas. I'm going to join those dots up, and this will be where the shadow is on our dog. So the reason I used the brush was to make sure I got it lovely and even with the underneath. So I'll show you what I did again. I took my second brush, lined it up with the bottom of the canvas, run my fingers down it until I got them Oh, here's someone else. Oh,
Sorry, we're switching because the iPad's going to run out of charge. Sorry.
I was just thinking that, wow, that's weird because that's another Mark and Eve and Ellie. Okay, cool. So I've lined my brush up.
Tony,
Yeah.
what colour is the shadow supposed to be?
So do you remember that we were fading it as we went down?
We didn't do that.
That's fine, yeah.
Okay. So have you used a colour that's straight out of a tube, or did you mix?
No, they have paled it. So the darker version of what their background is will be the shadow, is it?
Yeah. So so what you want to do, if you've added white to that colour, just use some of the darker colour without the white, so straight out of the tube.
Straight out of the tube for her.
So yeah, what we've done, lined our second paintbrush up with the bottom of our canvas. We've come in about a third of the way from the edge, and I've slid my thumb and my finger down to where I want my shadow to be, and I'm just going to slide it across, keep lining it up with the bottom of the canvas, just on like the middle third of my painting, and then I'm going to join those dots up, and that gives me a lovely straight horizontal line. And this is going to be the shadow that goes around underneath the body of our dog. So I then need to soften the edge. So I'm going to use some of this paint, this darker, and just like I did with up here, and adding a little bit more white to it as I go down, making it just a little bit lighter each time. So I pick up a bit more of my pale ground colour, and I just smudge it around the edges. So as you can see, I've got this strong shadow across the top, but as it comes further away, where I've added the paler colour that we've worked into, it's just got paler. You've got some assistance there, Ruby. I suspect someone's being cheeky and not meant to be on the table. Once you've got your shadow in, then give me a thumbs up and let me know that you're ready to move on. Oh, Emma, hold it a little bit higher. Oh, lovely. Fantastic. Really good shadow.
Tony, tell me how my friend looks, because I told her, because I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, so do you remember we were saying about blending it out around the edges, underneath and to the side, like I've done with mine? So you want this straight line across the top and then blend it out using your background colour around the bottom and the sides. So how is yours looking, Shania?
I haven't done mine yet.
Well, maybe you should get on and do yours, otherwise you're going to get behind, aren't you? Yeah. So what's your friend's name?
Eleanor.
So Eleanor, what I'd like you to do, you know this background colour, have you saved some of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So give your brush a bit of a wipe out on a tissue. Yeah. And using some of your background colour just around the edges, but not across the top. Just dip your brush into your background colour and just rub it around the bottom and the sides of your darker colour, and that will make it all soft and smudgy and give you a shadow.
Okay.
You okay, Ruby? Yeah?
Yeah, Dolly just put her paw prints all over my painting. Dolly's my dog.
Oh, well, it's going to look even more authentic than if it's got paw prints on it. That's a thought, actually. If you wanted to, instead of doing daisies around the outside, you could put paw prints or something like that. Not with like actual real dogs, because you'd have to paint her paw and then spot it all around, and then she'd run everywhere and get paint all over the house, and then your mum would shout at me. So I'm sure that it's totally fine. Doesn't matter if there's a paw print, you can tweak it or work around it. So good thing about painting, you can always work around things. So Shania, have you finished yours? Yeah? Okay. So give me a thumbs up, everyone, when you've done your shadow, and we'll move on to doing our dog.
Tony, can I show you mine?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not the best shadow in the world, but
Okay.
very...
I think you should make that a bit bigger and a bit more smudgy. So why don't you work on yours and sorry, it was Eleanor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let Eleanor work on hers and you work on yours, yeah?
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, we're behind.
No, that's okay. So we've got all of our background in. We've got our shadow that goes under our dog. So now we need to work on our dog. And anyone who's painted with me before will know that any kind of animal breaks down into really simple shapes. And so to get our dog shape, what we're going to do is start off with circles and then start to join them up. So our dog's chest and shoulder here is a circle. And then we've got a slightly smaller circle here for our hips. And then we're going to draw two really long lines to join those up. And then up here, directly above where our chest is, we're going to have another circle. This one's going to be about the same size as the back hips, so a little bit smaller than the chest. So these two circles, I'm going to show you in a minute, will be roughly the same. And then we're going to work, we've got like half a banana shape for the nose up here. And we've got this funny kind of almost like a leaf shape for the ear. So what you need to decide is what colours you're going to do. So if you're going to do an all black dog, then do your guidelines in black. If you're going to go for a brown and black dog, what we're going to do is do our guidelines in brown. We'll get our brown bits in and then we'll switch over and do our black bits. So totally up to you. I've done a smooth haired sausage dog, but if you want to make it into a rough haired one, all you do, I can explain how to do it and give you a little demonstration. But the basis of the kind of the structure of the body of the dog is the same either way. So I'm going to grab myself, I've got some burnt umber. Burnt umber is a lovely brown colour, but for this it's a bit dark. So I'm going to add a tiny bit of white to it, a really tiny bit, which will also help make the colour sit a little bit flatter on my background. So I'm going to go back to another one of my 1/2 inch brushes, and I've got a little hair there. I've got cats and it's spring, so there's cat hair everywhere in my house at the moment. And I'm going to mix my brown and my little bit of white together and give myself a nice brown colour. So if you want more of a sort of less of a chocolate brown and more of a kind of reddy brown colour, you can add a bit of red to your brown. If you want it to be more of a sort of sandy brown, you can add a bit of yellow to it. It's up to you. I'm going to grab myself just a medium-sized round brush, and when you guys are ready with your brown, if you give me a thumbs up and I'll know we're ready to get started. So don't forget to add some water to your paint, because it's really difficult to paint with paint that's too thick. Yeah, that's cool. That's a good size brush. Is it nice and clean? Ready to go? Yeah, awesome. Oh, that's a good brown. So who's going, anyone going for a like solid coloured dog, or are you all going to do a brown and black one like mine?
I think I might go for one solid color.
Okay.
I think I might go for just brown.
Okay. That's cool. So when you're ready and you've got your brown colour ready, and you've got a sort of medium-sized round brush, what we've got to remember when we start to put in these first things is that this shadow is where our legs are going to come down to. So we need to work a bit above that, because we don't want to go too high, because, yeah, that's a good colour, because we want short legs on our dog, but we don't want to be too low and not have any room for the legs at all. So I'm going to go probably probably about 2 centimetres up from my shadow, and I'm going to put in my first circle. So I've gone kind of right over, so if we were splitting this into thirds, I'm on the left-hand third line, and I'm going to come round, give myself, so this is my big circle. So this particular breed of dog, they've got these really kind of big, very proud kind of chests. So we're going to exaggerate that because it's a caricature, like that. Get our paint nice and flat.
Tony, me and Ellen are nearly done with our shadows. After, can you recap this part?
Yeah, no worries. Emma, I think if I were you, I'd go even bigger than that. Yeah? I'd probably go twice the size of that. Yeah, that's better. Much better. So, oh, lovely. Fantastic. I think Eve, you could probably even go a little bit bigger than that if you wanted to. Ruby, how are you getting on?
Good.
Excellent. So if we imagine those third lines that we've got, and we're going to put our hips, which is a smaller circle, on the right hand third line, which is going to be here. So the front is over one side of the end of the shadow and the back is going to be over the other. And if you imagine, so I can actually draw it in, a line that goes straight from the middle of one circle to the just above the other circle there, and then I'm going to do my smaller circle down here on the right hand side. So it's not a massive difference. Yeah, fantastic, Emma. Really good. There's not a massive difference between these two circles, but there is a definite one's bigger than the other. And then what we want to do, so you can draw another line. Yeah, awesome. Fantastic. Very good job, Eve. So this left-hand big circle, if you were to draw another line that went straight up from here, okay, and then we want a little bit of a gap and then another circle that's roughly the same size as that smaller right-hand circle. So the bigger the gap you give yourself, the longer your dog's neck will be. And sausage dogs don't have particularly long necks, so we're not going to make it too long. We're not kind of painting a giraffe dog. Yeah, fantastic. Oh, these are really good.
Me and Ellen are done with our shadows. Yeah.
Okay, so what we're doing is with our dog colour, we're going to do a larger circle above the shadow by about 1 or 2 centimetres. We're going to do a large circle above the left-hand side of the shadow and then a slightly smaller one on the right-hand side. Paint a line that joins the middle and then another line that goes from the middle of the larger one up to a small circle about the same size as your smaller one. Okay?
What colour does the brown have to be?
Just any shade of brown will do. I've used burnt umber with a little bit of white in.
I think me and Ellen might want like a little bit of a light brown. Yeah, let's go choose one. Okay, thank you.
No worries. So once you've got that, give me a thumbs up. That's a very enthusiastic thumbs up there. So now we're going to basically paint half a banana. So we've got that curved shape and then it's imagine someone cut it in half and stuck it on the nose, on the front of our circle. So what we want to do though is not start at the very top. So if this was a clock and this was 12 o'clock at the top, 6 o'clock at the bottom, about 9 o'clock, which is here, we're going to paint our banana coming out. And sausage dogs have got long noses, so we're going to really exaggerate the nose on our sausage dog. And then I'm going to come down and paint the other half of this banana. Not the other half, but the bottom half of this banana. Like that. So, well, it's a banana, but it's not yellow. Yeah, that's good. Emma, I think you could even make it a bit more rounded at the bottom if you wanted. Oh, awesome. Yeah, that looks like a really good nose. Excellent nose. So give me a thumbs up when you've done that. Well, I know you've done it because I've seen it. So we're going to carry on with our brown and we're going to do, yeah, awesome. Have you actually gone, have you gone yellow with your nose? Or is it just how the paint looks because it's wet? And then underneath.
A little bit of white.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That looks, I say it looks a bit yellow on screen, like you had actually painted a banana on the face of your dog. So what we're going to do, we need to do a bottom, like bottom of the mouth. We need to do a bit of a chin. So halfway up the banana, I'm going to come out and do a bump that goes in to the bottom of the circle. So that's the chin for my dog. Yeah, fantastic. That looks awesome. Lovely. Fantastic. You can get really creative with the colours of your dogs. They don't have to be realistic. This is just, I painted this because this is in my head, my pet sausage dog. When I get it, this is what it's going to look like. So using some more of that brown paint, we now need to start to fill in the gaps and put on some, and it needs some legs and it needs a tail. So things like the tail, we can leave that until we switch colours, but the things that we want to be brown, we need to paint in now. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, this face, this like big circle, I'm going to just fill that in. A lot of that we are going to go over with black, but we're going to just keep it like that for now. So it's there ready for when we want to use it. And then I'm going to join this underneath the chin. So I'm going to put in the neck. So I'm going to join that up. So you can see that it narrows as it comes up to the head. On the left hand side, but on the right hand side it comes straight up. Yeah, fantastic. I think on your, Emma, on your dog's head, you can come straight down and on the right hand side under the circle and make the neck a bit thicker if you wanted. And then what we're going to do, our dog's tummy is brown, so we can fill in all of the chest there. Yeah, that looks good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to join the bottom of the big circle up with the bottom of the little circle. So I'm going to get a nice line. And I'm going to just paint up to that halfway line that we had. Yeah, fantastic, Emma. So the next thing we're going to put in is some legs. If I show you the original, you can see what happens with legs. So front legs and back legs on a dog are a bit different. So we want these short little stubby legs that go down to the shadow. If you've forgotten to leave a bit of gap, don't worry, that's not the end of the world. All you need to do is still just do these short little legs. So the front ones are basically like a little triangle, and then on the front, on the bottom front and to the front of them, you have a little oval. For the back legs, however, they are much different, and they come out behind it, behind the circle, and then go down and then go forward. So a slightly different shape to the back legs, but that's not a problem because I'll talk you through it. So you might find for this bit that you're more comfortable with a smaller brush. So if you want to switch to a smaller brush to do this, you can do. And what we're going to do, underneath our big circle on the left-hand side, we're going to do 2 triangles, 2 quite small ones. So that you don't have to go to a real point at the front, because what we're going to do is do a little oval on the front. And then I'm going to move over, leave a bit of a gap, and I'm going to put another triangle in. If you want to be really, really arty and be really correct, what you can do is make that one a little bit longer and have your oval sitting just below your shadow. So this is going to be the leg that's nearest us. So it would be a little bit closer. Hold it a bit higher. Lovely. Fantastic. Yours has really got that shape that sausage dogs have in the front of their
Tony, you know, I accidentally did the big circle where we had to join it. I put the first circle on the line of the shadow, so where will the legs go?
That's fine. You can just put the legs down into the shadow then.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So for the back legs, what we want to do is come out. So we're going to almost come diagonally away from the nose, and then we're going to do down, and then we're going to go forwards. So I'll show you what I mean. So if there was a line that comes from the corner of the canvas right through your circle, your line's going to go out, and then it's going to go down. So we've got like a right angle, and it's going to come down like this, and then you're going to have your paw. So, which looks like a bit of a funny thing at the moment, like it's bending the wrong way. But then we take a line from the bottom of the small circle and fill that in, and then make our triangle. When we've got our dog, when we paint in our shadows and everything, this will start to look much more like a dog's leg. So it will make sense by the end. Yeah, fantastic. And then what we can do is next to that, so a little bit higher if you want to, we're going to do another smaller one. So that one you might only see a bit of the triangle. So, but what I'd like you to do, just take a little bit of time on this and make sure all 4 of your legs are the same, sort of the paws are all the same size, the triangles of the legs are all the same size. They haven't got kind of like one paw that's bigger than another, or one that's a slightly different shape. Just take a bit of time to get everything. Yeah, fantastic. That looks really good, Emma. So this next section that we're going to do, if you're doing your dog all one colour, then keep working that same colour. If you're going to do a 2-colour one like mine, then grab yourself some black.
Tony, me and Eleanor are now done.
Okay.
We're done with the circle. We don't know how to do the nose or stuff.
Okay, so, oh, Eve, that looks fantastic. So what you do is basically half a banana shape that points up. So not from the very top of your circle. Can you see that there's still a little bit of the circle visible? You go up, make quite a big banana shape, and then bring that down to meet up with the bottom of the circle.
Okay.
And then underneath that, you do the chin, which is kind of like a bump that goes down and round and comes back up.
The nose. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Tony, for that last circle at the right of your shadow, do we have to shade it in?
If you're going to do your dog all one color, then yeah, you can do that now. But if you're going to do two colors, you leave that because that's going to be the other color. So give me a thumbs up when you're ready, and we can start. Cool. We can start working in our second color because our dog's looking a bit weird at the moment, isn't it? So make sure your brush is lovely and clean before you start. And don't forget to add a bit of water if your brush, if your paint's a bit on the thick side, because it is really tricky to paint with thick paint. So sometimes I get really into what I'm painting and I don't really notice. And then when I do, I'm like, oh, it's got too thick and it's really tricky to work with. So the first thing I'm going to do with my black is up here at the top of the banana. I'm going to just do a kind of, it's like a very fat leaf shape. And that's going to be my dog's nose. So it's kind of like a leaf shape that is quite sort of stretched and fills in the end of the banana. Cool, excellent. From that, I'm going to leave a bit of a gap, and then I'm going to come along my banana. So making sure I line up, I'm going to come up and over the top of my circle like that. And then I'm going to come round my circle. So I'm painting over my brown that I've done already. And I'm going to put the ear in later. But what I'm going to do is follow that those guidelines that I've already got. So I'm going to go round the neck and down the shoulder.
Tony, I've done something to my dog's nose and it looks a bit strange.
Okay, hold it up. Let's have a look.
The mouth, oh my God, honestly looks so strange.
Okay, you've just done it too narrow. So just widen it up, particularly up near the head.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do with our black is basically kind of divide the head and the neck in half, and then we're going to carry the black down, leaving the chest, but carry the black down to the leg. So what I'm going to do, so I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to go, leave a brown paw like that, and then we're going to go dividing this by half. So we're going to follow the line of the big chest circle. We're going to come up, splitting that neck in half. So the right hand side of the neck is in black and the left hand side is in brown. And I'm going to do the same on the face. So my face is the lower or left hand side is going to stay brown, and the right hand side of it is going to change to black. So I've got this kind of line that's roughly following the line that we've done on the outside. Yeah, that is really cool, Emma. Excellent job.
Tony, because I'm only doing one color, at the end of the nose, do I just keep it brown?
So for now, just keep it brown, and then what you can do is just grab a bit of black at the end to do the eye and the nose.
Okay, because I can't just make like a darker brown, and where you put black, I can put darker brown.
It's up to you. If you want to do that, you can do. Or if you want to keep it a solid colour, just grab some black at the end and put in the eye and the nose when we do the eye. So what I'm going to do as well is that I'm going to go round the right hand side of our chest circle and fill that in. So our dog is starting to get his markings now. Still a bit of a funny shape in some places. So we're going to sort that out now because he's very, very thin. Yeah, really good, Emma. What we want to do now is draw in our back, because at the moment our dog is missing its whole back. And we're going to, yeah?
Tony, Eleanor's a bit confused on the body part with the black.
No, not the black. Because on the part with the neck, when I drew my neck, I just did a line, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to like.
Oh, I get it. She doesn't know
pumpkin.
if you should curve on the neck.
Yeah.
Because we just did one straight line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think because you got behind, you've missed. So we've widened the neck out to meet up with the chest at the front with the brown before we use the black. So you need to take from the bottom of the chin, you need to widen it out and go around the left hand side of the circle, yeah? So we're now going to put in our dog's back. We're going to join from the shoulder here to the hip. So we're going to have a nice straight line, and it's going to come it's going to basically come from one to the other, and it's going to get a little bit sort of lower and narrower on the body as it comes down. So I'm going to just do this again. So I'm going to go over. If you're trying to get a lovely flat smooth line, you're going to really struggle if your paint is too thick. So before you start to do that, just see how your paint is and whether you need to add some more water. And then once we've got our black line in, we're going to go a little arch from this front leg. It's going to come up, leaving a little bit of brown underneath and then down, but it's only going to come across to the leg that's on the right hand side. So I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to go from this leg, we're going to arch up, we're going to come across like this, and then we're going to come down and we're going to meet this leg here. So we're going to have this arch. So that's really simplifying it. And then I'm going to fill that all in. Starting to look a bit more doggy now. Oh, sorry, Emma, I was looking, hold it up again. Yeah, fantastic. Oh, he is so cute. Wait till you get your ear on him. And then what I'm going to do with my black still on my paintbrush, I'm going to, so I'm not washing it out. I'm just rubbing my black brush onto a tissue. And then when the paint is just still a little bit wet, I'm going to rub it down into the leg so that I get this blend between the brown and the black. So hopefully you guys can see that okay. And then I'm going to do the same a little bit with the other two legs that we've left brown. But what I want to do is leave the body area. So I'm only going to do, I'm going to leave a bit and then do just the triangle bits. Yeah, fantastic. I'm doing just the triangle bits on all of the legs. So I'm not going up into the body, I'm just doing the triangles. And I've got hardly any paint on my brush, really the tiniest amount. And I'm making it all smudgy and smeary. And it makes it look like the colour changes as it goes down the leg, which is what happens on this kind of marked dogs with this kind of markings. He looks awesome. He really does. That's the kind of sausage dog I would have, which had a few too many sausages, I think.
Tony, I've made the longest neck in a dog's history.
Oh, so you've got a sausage giraffe then?
I'm listening and I'm seeing that.
Give me a thumbs up when you've done that. Oh, wow. He looks very cute as well. He looks like a very nice dog, I have to say. So any suggestions what our dog's missing at the moment? Go on, you don't have to put your hands up. You can just unmute yourself and tell me.
Tail, eyes, and collar.
Yeah, and sorry, and something else. Pardon? Did I not? What about ears? Or did you say ears and I didn't hear it? Ba-boom. So what we're going to do, still using our smallish kind of brush, we're going to do our ear and our tail. We're going to leave our collar for the minute because we want to make sure that all of the rest of our dog is dried. So we're going to do our ear and our tail. We're going to then go and do our daisies that go around the side and also the one that our dog's holding. And then we're going to come back and do our collar and our eye and also our eyebrow. And if you haven't already done your nose, you can do your nose then as well. So first thing we're going to do is our ear. And our ear is kind of like a leaf shape. So it's kind of like an oval that goes to 2 points. One point joins onto the head and the other one comes down. So don't go too big so that it goes over your body. Try and keep it so that it's in the space away, because we're very simplifying this painting, so it doesn't have to be realistic, it just needs to be that shape and not overlapping the body. And then for the tail, we're going with that half a banana shape again, but this one's really narrow. So, and we're going to come from the top of the circle in a curve up. And what you want to do is use, particularly for the point, use a small brush to get a really good point on it. So first thing I'm going to do is grab my small brush that I was painting with, there it goes, and I'm going to pop in my ear. So this is going to be a leaf shape. So you might find it's easier to start off with the point and then join it onto the head. So I know I want my leaf shape to come to a point here. It's going to come into the head like that. And then I'm going to go up and I'm going to go out. And then I'm going to come in like that. So we've got this kind of leaf that's growing on the side of the head like that. And now obviously our dog's got 2 ears, but I'm only going to show one on this because it's a caricature and we don't want to make it too complicated so that people don't actually know what it is. When you're painting, you don't always have to do put every detail on, because sometimes it can confuse things. And then I'm going to come from the bottom. I'm going to start off with the same brush, and I'm going to start to do my half a banana, and I'm going to come up, and if I can't get a really sharp point with this brush, then I can switch over to a smaller one just for the point. So, but we're going really long and narrow and to a really nice point like that. Oh, lovely. That's fantastic. So before we finish with the black, if there's any bits where your brown's still showing through, or you need a bit of a sharper point, oh, smudged it there. Let's just sort that out. Just have a little tweak before we finish with the black. Have a look at your dog as well. Just see if there's any bits that you want to tweak slightly before we move on. So it's always good to have a look at hold your painting up and have a look at it from a bit of a distance. And when you're ready.
Tony?
Yeah?
I've done mine. I accidentally smudged it with a brown on the background, but it looks like the dog has made cute paw prints, because also for my back legs of the dog, it looks like it's jumping up. It doesn't really look like it's on the ground.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Can I show you it?
Yes, please. Oh, Mark, that looks awesome. Or was that Elliot's?
This is me and paw.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's funny. Don't forget his tail here. Yeah, excellent job.
Yeah.
There's some very cute sausage dogs today. So we are going to leave our sausage dog to dry. Oh, beautiful. These are so cute. We're going to leave our sausage dog to dry off a little bit, and we're going to work on our flowers that go round. So I've called mine Daisy, and I've put daisies around it. And but you can change yours and have different flowers if you want to. So if you're going with a daisy, then the petals are white and the centre's yellow. What we will do is we're going to start off with the white and do our daisies. We're then going to leave those to dry off, do our stems that come in between, and then we can also put some leaves and things like that on. And then when we do, we're going to come back, do a bit more work on our dog, and then at the end we'll put the yellow in once the white has dried off. The key to doing these daisies is using a nice big round chunky brush. So you want something, if you use the small ones like we've been using, so one like, for example, this one that I was using for the dog, you're going to have small flowers. If you use big chunky ones, you're going to have big chunky daisies. So it's up to you which size you want to go with. I'm going to grab, oh nice, yeah. I'm going to grab some white paint. Make sure, because especially as we've been painting with brown and white, brown and black, make sure that your paintbrush is really, really clean before you do this next thing. Otherwise, you'll end up with kind of grey or sludgy brown daisies. And what I'm going to do is start off with one in each corner and the one that's going to come out of Daisy's mouth. And then I'm going to put another one in the middle of those four corners, and then I'm going to place them in between. So I kind of get them roughly even. So I'm going to use pure white with a little bit of water added. And using my big round brush, I'm going to start in this top left-hand corner, and I'm basically just pressing my daisy down and pressing my brush down and making a really short little mark with it. And I'm just doing that. So I'm letting the brush make the petal shape. So if you've got room to put 5 petals in, then put in 5. If you've only got room to put in 4, it's better to just put in 4 and not squish them up. So, but what you want is to have space around your petals. So if your paint's got a bit thick, you can just touch that up. But rather than trying to paint kind of like round shapes, let your actual brush do the work for you. Yeah, fantastic. So did you only put 4 petals on there, Emma? Yeah, so that's a really good decision. You've decided that actually there wasn't room. It was better than to just put 4 on than to squish it and try and put 5. So excellent decision there. And then I'm going to do another one in this corner. So I'm just pressing my brush down and pulling it off, and that will form a petal. And this is generally how you paint flowers. So you use your big chunky brush and you just press down and you move it a very slight way. And this gives you lovely flower shapes. And if you're really daring, yeah, lovely. Lovely. If you're really daring, you can actually put more than one colour on your brush and you get lovely kind of streaky tonal petals that way. Right, I'm going to do down here next. So just pressing my brush down, pulling it up. Yeah?
You do white flowers.
No, you can do any colour you like.
Okay.
So I'd avoid doing yellow. But if you're really got your heart set on yellow, do like yellow and white mixed together. Lovely. Fantastic. So Emma's got ahead of me now. So I'm doing all 4 corners. Oh, this is a bit tricky, this one. I'm at a funny angle. All 4 corners. And then I'm also going to do the one down here. So just to the left-hand, diagonally left-hand side to Daisy's chin. So, and if I want to, I could change the colour. So I could have just white in the 4 corners and that Daisy's holding. And then I could maybe do some pink, or I could do some yellow ones if I wanted to. So I'm going to do same here. So this time I'm not pressing down quite so hard. And I'm just putting in my 5 little petals. Oh, I'm painting with the wrong hand there. Painting with my other hand, which is always a bit tricky. So I've got that. Yeah, fantastic. So say I wanted to, I could change, if you want to have a go with doing the 2 colours, you can do. So I'm going to grab a little bit of pink here. And if you want to have a go with doing 2 colours on your daisy, what you do, so you load up your brush with your white paint. You get quite a lot of paint on your brush and then you dip just the very, very tip. So hopefully, let's get that really close. So only the very tip of my daisy has got pink on. And I'm now going to go in the middle. So, and when I press down and pull up, you can see the middle of my petal has got a bit of pink on it. So, or if you go from the outside in, depends which way you find easiest, you'll have the pink on the outside of your petal. So like that. So that's another way that people get effect when they're painting flowers with different colours. So I'm going in the middle of each one of these. So it's a really good effect. It's a bit tricky to get the hang of. It's also a bit tricky for me to paint from this angle, but it's definitely worth having a go at. Oh, that's lovely. So we want to make sure we've got nice space between all of our flowers, because we're going to make this into a daisy chain. So we don't want them too close together. So this is really tricky for me to paint. I have to sit at a bit of a funny angle when I do this. So, so it's quite tricky for me to get my hand round to do some of the petals. And I'm going to do in the middle here. So I'm thinking with mine that I'm not going to do any more on the sides, and I'm just going to put one more either side on the top and the bottom. And I could try this, so I'm going to try this again. I'm going to put some yellow on and have another go at these streaky flowers to see if I can get these to work some more. So these generally work really well if you have sort of tonal colours as well. So if you were to do pink and red or orange and yellow, flowers like this work really well. So this is me, might not show up, but I'm doing a yellow and white one here. So that one's more yellowy. And I'm going to do it again. So load my brush up with paint and then dip just the very, very tip into my other colour, whichever colour you decide that to be. And don't forget, if you haven't got room to put 5, it's better to put 4 flowers in, 4 petals into your flower, than to try and squeeze ones in when there isn't room. I'm going to do another 4 here, like that. Yeah, fantastic. I think because you've gone so small with your daisies, you could actually get a few more extra ones in if you wanted. And then I'm going to go with my last one here. And just work my way round. So I reckon I've got enough space to get 5 petals in this one. There we go. Mine have got bigger and bigger as I've gone along. Once you've done that and you're ready, grab yourself a bit of green. So it's up to you if you want to lighten it up with some yellow as well. I know sap green is, which is generally like the mid green that you get, can be quite a dark colour. So if you want to, you can add some yellow to it, and make it a bit lighter. But you do need to add quite a lot of yellow to make it a lot lighter, if that makes sense, because yellow isn't a very strong colour. So a very small amount of green will, a lot of yellow and a small amount of green will make it lighter. So just getting my green to where I want it to be. So I want it dark enough that it shows up, but I don't want it to sort of be dark and not like a bright, a bright jolly green. Oh yeah, lovely delicate flowers. Once you've got your green colour and you're ready, give me a thumbs up. Let me know. Oh yeah, that's a nice green. What we're going to do when you've got your green colour that you're happy with is using a nice thin brush, so much thinner than we used for our flower petals. I'm going to use load up with my green, and I'm going to do a wavy line that runs in between all my daisies. So it doesn't have to meet at all my daisies. So can you guys see that? Not really. Okay, let me make it a little bit darker. So it's funny, sometimes what I find is that colours that I can see really well, you guys can't. So I'm going to make my green a little bit darker for you. See how this goes. So let's try again. Let's see if this is a bit better. So, oh, I've frozen all of a sudden. So I'm going to carry on, and it should catch up in a minute. And I'm just going to keep doing a wavy line that runs. Oh, there we go. I'm going to do this wavy line that meets up between all of my flowers. So don't forget, when you're painting a line, use your paint a little bit wetter and thinner than you do for painting your background. Not wet like watercolour, but just a bit more fluidy, so that you can get a better line with it. It spreads a little bit easier. So I'm just joining these up like that. Nice wavy line. And then what I'm going to do is go back with a thicker brush and add in some leaves. So this is my last little thing on the daisy chain. And what I want to do is do a little stalk that's going to come up and stop where the mouth is. So while you've got your thinner brush, you could also put in your leaf on your daisy that's in Daisy's mouth, but the rest of them I'm going to go with a little bit of a thicker brush.
Tony, one sec. Tony, our computer charge is at 2% and we gotta go.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just worry.
Okay, well, this is being recorded, so if you need to, you can always catch up with the recording if you haven't got a plug. Are you plugged in now? You okay? Yeah? Oh, that's lovely, Emma. Fantastic. So I'm going back to using a chunkier brush, same as I used for my flowers. And just in exactly the same way as I've done my petals, using my chunky brush, I'm just going to press down like that to get my leaves. But I'm not touching my leaves onto my stems. I'm leaving a bit of a gap because it's not meant to look realistic. This is just a pattern. So it goes round. So I'm just doing these little strokes with my green. So just pressing onto the canvas, getting my brush to spread a little bit and then pulling it off. And that gives you this lovely leaf shape. So it's quite nice to do it, and you get roughly the same size, whereas if you try and paint them yourself with a smaller brush and get a leaf shape, you tend to end up with a big variety of shapes. So I'm going to go round a few more. If you wanted to do kind of like a little tweak afterwards, you could always put some highlights on these leaves. So you could grab some yellow or something and paint a little stalk in the middle or something like that. And my last one, so again, it's better, I'm going to put one up there. It's better to drop one if you need to, rather than squeeze one when there's not space. When you've done your daisy chain, give me a thumbs up, and your leaves.
Tony, me and Eleanor are done.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look.
And I can't.
Oh, really nice. Are you not going to put a collar and things like that on?
Yeah.
Color.
Tony, how do you do the color?
But do you just want to wait for a second for everyone else to catch up? And I'll be explaining how to do it.
Okay. We should get.
So give me a thumbs up when you've done your daisy chain, and I'll talk you through how we're going to do our collar, and also about putting our eye and our eyebrow on. Oh, that's lovely, Emma. Fantastic job. We'll just wait for Eve and Ruby to catch up for a second, and then we'll move on. Oh, lovely. Fantastic job there, Eve. Okay, Ruby. So, Cara, are you okay? Oh, lovely. Fantastic. So, the first important question. Oh, nice. Oh, that's tricky, doing him facing the other way. First question is, you need to ask yourself, is your dog's neck dry? So if it's not dry, then this is going to be really tricky, and you're probably better off waiting till the video's finished and then watching the replay and doing it then, just because when we paint over this next bit, if it isn't dry, it's going to just turn into a big sludge. So pick your collar colour, and you also want to have like a kind of a grey colour as well. So you want a colour for your collar. You could have pink or blue, something that you haven't used for your background. Maybe if you used a colour in your flowers, you could do it in that. That would look really nice. And then you want to make a really nice pale grey colour as well. So what I'm going to do is, God, I'm getting emails from everyone at the moment. I'm going to go back to my flat square brush that we used when we were doing our shadow down here. And I'm going to mix myself up a nice pink. But what I'm going to do, you can use any colour that you want. This is really up to you. Well, I'm going to get paint on my, you can see I've only got it on the bottom half of my brush. I don't want too much. And then I'm going to go in a single line across the neck like this in one stroke, and that will give you your collar. I'm then going to give my brush a clean out. And I'm going to use my grey. So I've got some white and a tiny spot of black. And just below the collar to the left-hand side, I'm going to paint an oval. So it's going to kind of sit on the chest. Like that. You can add a bit of shading on it if it's not showing up as well. So you might find, let's see if I can get a slightly darker grey. So if it's not showing up, make it a little bit darker. So like that. I've gone for a really big one. So this is the name tag. And then I'm going to use that fine brush that I had earlier on. And what I'm going to do is using some of that grey, unless you've done a grey collar, that is, and then you could use just black or white if you've gone with a grey collar. I'm going to do a line that goes from my tag, curves and go up to the up to the collar up here. So that's the ring that holds the tag on, and then I'm going to do a little buckle, very simplified buckle. So on my collar, I'm going to basically do a curved line with a straight line through it. So I'm going to go from one side, curve it up like this. So we've got this really big curve shape, and then running through the middle of the curve exactly in line with the collar, like that, and that makes the buckle on the collar. So does anyone, oh, excellent. Does anyone need me to recap that and say that again? Or is everyone okay? So one big straight line with your collar colour. If you use a flat square brush, you can do it with only half the, only sort of put paint on the bottom half of the brush, scrape off any extra, and you can do it in one stroke. And then I've gone with a grey colour. I've put this oval, this big disc name tag oval, just to the left-hand side of the chest. And then I've done a curved line going up from it, which is the ring that holds it to the collar. And then I've done a sort of crescent line shape going around from the top to the bottom in the middle of the collar, and a line that runs through it. So if you want to, and you've got a little bit of black, you can put some little marks like that. They're the holes on the collar for the buckle to go through. Oh, fab. So what you can do at the end, if you want to, you can do it with a pen if you find it easier. You can actually write your dog's name on that. You need a really super tiny brush to be able to do that. But so if you've got a pen or a marker, you might be better off writing your dog's name in black on that. So almost done, guys. Last couple of bits. Our dog needs an eye. Oh, fantastic. Oh, he's such a cutie. So yeah, our dog needs an eye, and my ones, the marking it had kind of like Brian had brown eyebrows as well. So I'm going to do a brown spot. So just where our nose meets our head, I'm just going to inline there, put in a brown spot. And then just above it, I'm going to do a bit of a brown line like that. So what I'm going to do, leave that brown to dry off for a second, and then right at the last minute, I'm going to come back and put a black spot and a white spot in there. And then I'm going to come round with my colour that I want to use for the centre of my daisies. So you can use yellow or pink or whatever colour you fancy. And I'm just going to do a small circle in the middle of each of those. If you find that you're struggling to get a good circle, you can always use a cotton bud. They're really good for these as well, for getting circles. So you can have a mixture of pink and yellow if you want. So I'm going to be daring. I'm going to put pink in the middle of my white ones. And I'm going to go pink in that one. And pink in that corner. And pink in that corner. Like that. And then I'm going to go kind of like an orangey colour, I think, in the middle of my yellow ones. So you don't have to stick to just one colour. You can do lots of different colours if you want. And there's another yellow one there. So I'm going to go there and there. And then I'm going to give my brush a bit of a clean. And I'm going to go for yellow in the middle of my pink ones. So I'm going to go like that and like that. And then one in the middle here. So I'm still using that big round brush to do this that I used for my other flowers. And then finally, Daisy's daisy that she's holding, I'm going to go yellow in the middle there. When you've done the middle of your flowers, give me another thumbs up and let me know you're done. Ruby, you done?
Yeah.
Done all your flowers, lovely. Yeah. So last two things we need to do is with a small brush where we did our brown eye, just going to take a little bit of black, and in the middle of that, we're going to pop in a little black spot. So that's giving our dog, the brown is the iris and the black is the pupil. And then I'm going to give my brush a really good clean out. And then really, really carefully with a really super steady hand, the very last thing we need to do in that eye is a tiny little white spot. So, oh, let me grab some white. That one's drying out. So I'm just going to put in a little white spot. We always put, you can do two if you've got space. We always put a little white spot in eyes because it makes them really show up and look glossy and shiny. Cool. So I'm going to stop the recording now, and then I can kind of come around and talk to you guys all individually and see how you're getting on. So if you've been watching the recording, thank you very much, and hopefully I'll see you at another session.